everyone, it's Shel from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of the Old School Techniques series on my channel, and this video is going to focus on using markers to stamp. We're going to stamp 3 different images and show you 3 different techniques. The first 2 stamps are going to come from the Hero Art set, and the last stamp is going to come from Sunny Studio Stamps. So I'm just putting a piece of 65-pound white cardstock down into my MISTI and picking 2 stamps from this Hero Arts image. The first one is going to be the soup can, and I'm going to use my MISTI because markers are not traditionally meant for stamping, so I am going to have to ink it up or color on it several times to get a really good image. So this is a brand new stamp to me, so I've never used it before. I am going to run my fingers over it to try to get some of that film off from production. And it'll give the marker a little bit more kind of tooth to hold that color. I'm just coloring over the entire can and I'm going to stamp it several times. I'm not pressing too hard because there are some fine cutout letters in the can and I don't want that to have ink inside of it. If you press too much, sometimes the ink will get into those areas. So you can see I'm just tapping over top of it, inking this up a couple times, and there's the stamped image. I'm going to clean it off. However, this did stain my stamp set. It doesn't bother me, but if it does bother you, just be aware that there are some colors of markers that will stain your stamps. The second stamp that we're going to use is another one from the same Hero Art set. So again, I have never used it before, so I'm running my fingers over it to take that film off. But we are going to color this in with multiple colors. So you see the first thing I'm doing is coloring in all the petals with the yellow. I'm going to do this a couple of times because it's brand new, and again, markers are not traditionally made for stamping. After I stamp down the petals, I'm going to move on to the stem and the leaves. I'm first going to use a light color green to color in the leaves. And then there are also little lines in the stems, and I'm going to go over them with a darker green. So you can layer colors on here. And then the last thing that I'm going to do for the sunflower is to take an orange and color the middle in so you can layer colors on top of each other. So there's a lot of different techniques that you can do with this. And if you're curious, you can use other types of markers besides Tombow for this. The only ones that I wouldn't use are things that are permanent, like Sharpie markers. I wouldn't use them. But any water-based markers like these Tombow markers and even Crayola markers. I was at my brother's house making birthday cards with the girls. They were making their dad birthday cards, and Nora wanted something colored in blue, and I didn't have a blue ink pad, so I improvised, and we figured it out that you could use Crayola markers to go ahead and do this. So you don't have to have anything really fancy, which is again why this is a old school technique. You really don't need a ton of supplies for these, and I'm loving going back and remembering all of these techniques. So there you can see I've finished that sunflower. And now we're moving on to the balloon. Now this is the first time that I've ever done a layering stamp set, and let me tell you, I did come up with a couple of tips and tricks for this one. The first one is I wouldn't use a very, very light color because I used the very, very pale pink on this one, and I had to color it several times. If you are going to do a light color like this and have to put multiple layers on, make sure you dry that first layer. Let it dry, use your heat gun, do whatever you need to do before you go and put the second layer on, because it's just going to create kind of a blob, and it saturates the paper, especially since this is really thin paper, it tended to saturate it. So I would have let this one dry. And because it's layering stamps, you do have to be especially with these ones, you have to be a little bit more precise. The fact that Lucy was sitting on the desk was a little bit difficult for me to line everything up correctly because I was trying to keep my head out of the camera and actually stop her from biting me. She's 18 and a half years old. They'll be 19 in August, her and Fred. So I think her eyesight might be going a little bit, and she tends to she tends to swat at me or try to bite because I don't think she can see really what's going on. So now I'm doing that last layer as she's walking on actually that's the second layer, sorry, as she's walking all over my stuff. You can see I'm just trying to do my best to finish this project. She will be in this video and a future video that I do with the fairies from Lawn Fawn. She just really wanted to be on the desk tonight. So you can see I had to do multiple layers of this one as well. I would let this dry, and then I would also make sure you get really over top of this before you put the third layer on, because I didn't line it up very well when I went to do this. So it needed to be up a little bit more, but it's fine. This was experiment. It was practice. I've never done it with layering stamps before and just wanted to see how it would come out. So I'm using this dark pink, and you can see it's just around the very, very edges of it. And I'm coloring it on and stamping it out. So total experiment. These are supposed to be helium balloons, so I think it gave it kind of a cool look to it, but you can tell that I didn't line it up perfectly. But experiments, and it was a lot of fun to go back and use techniques that I haven't used in a while. So I hope this inspires you to pull out your markers and try this technique. Let me know if you do in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for another video. Bye!